I have a friend who used to work at a national park out west for a bunch of years. And during that time, he realized that he was very disconnected from what was going on in the world. And one day he found this newspaper, so he decided to catch up on what was happening in the world. And as he read, he saw so many things that made him feel depressed and anxious about the world. And as he finished reading the paper, he realized that when he checked the date, that it was a paper from 8 years before. And when he saw that, he said that it reminded him that any time in our lives, any point in our lives, there's always going to be difficulty, there's always going to be devastation, destruction, and chaos in our world. In the beginning of the book of Acts, Paul is talking about this idea of the early church. And he says that temples are only built by human hands, but God creates every living, breathing human being and everything else. I've been trying to figure out what it means in this time, what it means today to follow Jesus. What does it look like to follow Jesus in a pandemic? Well, I've thought about this and I realized that it's a little bit different, yes, but it's also the same. Because although some things pause, other things don't pause. Things like devastation, discrimination, hurt, pain in our world, people who are in need, those things don't change. Those things don't pause. And for Christians, we are to be the people who step in to those needs. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a theologian who went against Nazi Germany back during World War II, said that to believe in God is to change. To believe in God is to change. And we are to be those people who change. There's this really neat story in the Bible where Jesus shows these different sides of what it means to live out helping other people in our lives and following him. Where he arrives at the temple and he sees all of these people who are making money and basically stealing off of the people who are walking and trying to worship in the temple. And so he actually drives them all out of the temple. And what's interesting is that in this space that people were stealing and making money off of people and worried about getting what was theirs, that space was cleared away, and guess who showed up? The people that showed up in that space to be with Jesus were the broken, the lame, the needy, the blind, the people who were in need. Jesus pushed away a space of self-preservation and made space for people who were in need. And we can be those people today. Yes, this pandemic has paused many things, but one thing that it doesn't pause the opportunity for us to be the people that Jesus calls us to be, to step in to the needs that we see in the world. And many times what we'll do is we'll say, well, once we get to this certain point, once we have enough money, once we have this situation going, then we'll help somebody else. And we get to the end of our lives and we're so disappointed at the way we missed opportunities to help other people. But we do have the opportunity to step into those needs every single day. Because to believe in God is to change. And Jesus wakes us up every day to this idea that there is something different out there for us to be a part of. Amen.